everybody. My name is Betsy, and this little panda is called Izzy. Now, Izzy would like to talk about something that happened to her yesterday, but she's a little camera shy, so she's asked me to tell you the tale. Are you sitting comfy? Then I'll begin. Yesterday is Izzy Panda's favourite day. Saturday, or as Izzy liked to call it, the Lady Day. While Izzy slept in her comfy cosy bed, she thought of what she would do. Dressing up games and trips to the park floated in her head. Ah, thought Izzy. No, today she was going to play on her favourite thing in the whole wide world, her ruby red bike. Izzy loved her ruby red bike, not as much as Mummy, Nanny or Grampy or her friends, but not far off either. Bounding down the stairs, Izzy ignored the shouts of her family. Ignoring her breakfast and getting ready, Izzy screeched to a halt and screamed, "Ah!" Izzy's family ran to poor little Izzy. "Are you all right?" they shouted. Poor crying little Izzy barely managed. "My bike! Where's my ruby red bike?" Izzy marched around their living room trying to be ever so brave, but it was no good. All she could do was think of her beloved ruby red bike was missing. "It's no good. We'll have to call the police," Mummy told her, knowing that poor little Izzy's bike had been stolen. Izzy ran as fast as she could to her room and climbed into her wardrobe and hid. Izzy didn't want to admit to her family she was scared. She knew the police would help find her lovely ruby red bike, but the truth is she was really scared. You see, she had been a little bit naughty at school last week, and she was sure that was something that the police dealt with. Izzy's family all knew where Izzy's super secret special place was, so when they slowly opened the door and said, "Little Izzy, we really must ring the police. That's what you do when a crime happens." Izzy sat nervously on her green sofa. She was playing with the big white buttons on her dress, trying to calm her fast heart beat, while her mummy rang the police. Although Izzy's mummy knew a crime had been committed, she thought it best not to use the emergency number, but the station's own number. "Hello, I'd like to report a stolen bike." It took a while for the police to arrive. Mummy said it's because they're very busy, but I'm sure they'll get here as soon as they can. When the door knocked, Izzy almost jumped out of her boots. PC Poynton came in and sat right next to Grampy, opposite Izzy and Mummy. Nanny insisted on making tea for the PC. All she felt was embarrassed. Would he know she was a little bit naughty at school? Would he think she was silly for getting upset about her ruby red bike?
"So, Miss Izzy, when was the last time you saw your ruby red bike?"
Yesterday, when I came in for my tea." Izzy's mummy gently squeezed her. It felt like he was there forever, asking all his questions, when all she wanted him to do was find her ruby red bike. Finally, when he started to leave, he asked,
"If we had a picture of the ruby red bike."
Izzy had a brilliant idea as she ran upstairs as fast as she could and grabbed her favourite photo. It was the one of her birthday, and there she is standing with her ruby red bike. "Here you go." "That's
"Perfect,"
Izzy responded. Izzy stood proud. Sorry, PC Poynton responded. Oh, aren't I silly for getting the story mixed up? Izzy stood proud that she could help find her precious bike.
"I believe that Miss Ewing has CCTV in her sweet shop, so that might be a start."
Izzy knew the best thing to do was to wait for the police to do their job. Meanwhile, over at Miss Ewing, PC Poynton was looking at the CCTV. He was hopeful he would find something. PC Poynton was starting to get a numb bum and square eyes from all the sitting and staring at the screen, but finally, he saw something interesting. When PC Poynton had seen a bike matching Izzy's description and a zebra called Xander he was all too familiar with. It didn't take PC Poynton very long to find Xander. He was right where he thought he'd be, at Palston Park, near the swing set.
"Hello, Xander. I'd like to ask you a few questions. Have you seen a red bike anywhere?" "I've seen lots of bikes."
PC Poynton wasn't happy with that answer.
"What about the red bike I saw you on earlier?"
Xander's eyes darted to the bushes. PC Poynton thought he had a look of It was worth a look. Xander, shuffling on his paws. There, in the bushes, there was Izzy Panda's ruby red bike. After arresting Xander and taking him and the bike to the station, PC Poynton popped round to Izzy Panda's. Izzy wasn't scared of PC Poynton anymore, so when she found him in the kitchen, she was happy to see him.
"I've got some good news for you. We have found your red bike."
Ah! Izzy deafened all the grown-ups. "When can I have my ruby red bike?"
"Not for a little while. We have to gather evidence."
Izzy wasn't quite sure what that meant, but it sounded very important.
"But don't worry, Izzy. We will have the person who stole your bike."
Izzy felt better at that. It took a long time, but Izzy got her ruby red bike back. Izzy had been so excited she talked and talked and talked that her ruby red bike was coming back, and it was all she had been talking about.
"There you go, Izzy. There's your red bike back."
Izzy ran to her ruby red bike and gave it a big hug and a kiss, making the grown-ups chuckle, but Izzy didn't care. In the next few weeks, Izzy rode her ruby red bike everywhere, but it didn't feel the same, and she didn't know why. Izzy eventually stopped playing with her bike. When PC Poynton came to visit,
"I've got some great news for you, Izzy. Xander the zebra who stole your bike pleaded guilty. He got community service."
Izzy looked to her mummy. "It means He has to help a lot of people to say he's sorry. Izzy thought that was very fair, and also knew why her ruby red bag felt weird, because after it was took, it didn't feel like hers, but now it did. The end. Well, thank you, Izzy Panda, for sharing what happened to you yesterday, and I'm really glad you got your bite back. And now we're going to say good night to these good people and hope they have a lovely day. Say good night, Izzy. Good night. And good night.